In his 1816 sonnet, On First Looking into Chapman's Homer, Romantic poet John Keats concluded his ode to Chapman's feat of translation by likening the reader's experience to that of stout Cortez when with eagle eyes he stared at the Pacific, and all his men looked at each other with a wild surmise, silent upon a peak in Darién. I first read this poem circa 1997 in my high school English class in Austin, Texas, the subject matter of which did not interest me as much as the young instructor, who served as the source of my every waking fantasy. At the time, I had a vague concept of the Darién, with its poetically envisioned peak, as my father had spent a portion of his youth in the Panama Canal Zone, where his own father had served the U.S. Department of Defense in various capacities, including as the Director of Military Intelligence for the U.S. Southern Command. The Panamanian Darién hosted the first successful European settlement on the continental Americas, founded by the Spaniards in 1510 and christened Santa Maria la Antigua del Darién. Nowadays, Darién can refer to the jungle region spanning Panama and Colombia, or to Panama's easternmost province by the same name. I do not recall whether I knew in 1997 that Keats had been slightly misguided, and that the inaugural eagle-eyed glimpse of the Pacific had not belonged to stout Cortez, who in the 16th century was busy slaughtering and looting in Mexico, but rather to another horrible Spaniard, by the name of Vasco Núñez del Balboa, who crossed the Isthmus of Darién in 1513 with all his men in search of gold, trade routes, and other goodies. Centuries later, in keeping with good old colonial continuity, Balboa's surname would be given to the Canal Zone High School my dad attended, the same high school where on January 9, 1964, Panamanian students committed the unpardonable act of attempting to raise the Panamanian flag next to the U.S. one. In the ensuing riots, U.S. forces in the Canal Zone killed at least 21 Panamanians. As part of his civilizing mission in the New World, Balboa presided over the obligatory massacres of indigenous folks. Among them, one canine-perpetrated massacre of perceived sodomites in 1513 that took place just prior to the sighting of the Pacific.